And we're live. What's up, YouTube?
What's up, Jeremy?
How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing good. Man. We're switching to video for this conversation and potentially more. Not to show our faces particularly. However, we're doing it to do more like walkthroughs, and when we did teardowns, we want to show you stuff.
Yeah, sharing screen. Yeah, that's missing. That's been a big miss.
I think so. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, don't worry, you're still going to get something from it. But if you follow the links wherever you find them, wherever we're going to post these links.
I think we're going to post it on the channel of QuickMail.
There you go.
And
there you go.
I don't know the link off by heart, but I think you can get it by typing youtube.quickmail.io. And I think it will redirect you automatically to our channel.
Good enough. Okay.
Cool. So I'm Jeremy, founder of quickmail.io.
Hey, and this is Jack from salesbread.com.
Yeah, tell us about SalesBread. What's up, man?
I rebranded, you guys. Was emails@sell.com, and still holding true to email. It's been a great channel for over a decade now for us. But since we're going multi-channel, LinkedIn, I'm looking at you, potentially SMS, SalesBread just sounds like something we can run with for years and years and years to come. Not that email's going anywhere per se, but it's a little bit more fun to incorporate more channels, thus SalesBread. Plus, I love baking sourdough. So why not SalesBread?
Why not sell sushi? I mean, come on, or sell ramen, man. You let me down on this one.
There's fewer letters in bread. Or maybe not with sushi, but either way, today I want to show you my multi-step process for building some lists. And cool. I feel like a lot of us list builders are left to the databases to do our building, to find our target accounts. When in fact, for the majority of sales and marketing pros out there, you need to go beyond 1 or 2 or 5 different databases to find your perfect accounts that you should be going after. The problem is, and I'll get to some examples, but most databases aren't going to give you all of the data that is going to be very helpful for finding your hot list. Yeah. And so because of that, we've used many different sources and some programs to help us filter through and find the right kinds of companies. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and databases, they're not always well targeted enough in a sense. Like you could find based on some criteria and they're always the same, like size of the company, maybe sometimes the revenue and stuff like that. But good luck, finding if they're maybe currently hiring or some of the signals that are, not always there, but happens from time to time during the year.
Right. So I'll give you an example. A client recently asked us to build a list of hospitals with over 200 beds. So they didn't really care about employee count. So forget SalesNav, forget Apollo, forget Crunchbase. I mean, hospital beds. How many databases have that? And the correct answer is, well, a hospital directory would have that kind of information. But then they don't have the personnel. They probably may not even have the website. So you've got to go through multiple steps in order to arrive at this list with a certain criteria. But Jeremy, before we kind of put the spotlight on me and how I'll go about list building, there's a conversation about finding these nuggets where you actually learn, it's about building a list with hospitals, and the hospitals have to have this number of beds. Do you have any, I don't know, what comes to your mind when you're trying to extract the right filters for a list?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, we got a typical thing like going through your existing list of clients, and technically and theoretically, you should have done that already if you're doing demos, like sales demos, in order to know that, this is a qualified prospect or not.
Not necessarily. Okay. Because what if you've been doing inbound for years and years and years, and you just...
but that's what I mean. If you do inbound, you will still probably have in your form some kind of validation. So for your client, for example, in the inbound stuff, you will have like, book a demo with us, and then it will be like, how many beds do you have? So you will very quickly put it up front as a pre-filter to know, are you like, I give you a good example. Actually, one of my friends had a demo link, and when you click on it, then he asks you to qualify yourself to know which link you should actually use. And it's like, am I using it for my team? And then you need to click on this link, or is it for myself? And then you click on another link.
Well, there's a couple problems with that. Number one, we're assuming that the listener right now has already arrived at this answer, when in fact,
You're right.
a lot of times we're still grasping for those filters that will tell us if an account is good for us or not. And another time, if you're not as sophisticated with inbound, or you've never done inbound, or you're still trying a lot of things, you might not have that filter on the demo form. I mean, specifically, this client doesn't really do demos. They're more of like a service-based, if you will. So in this example, they don't have the luxury of that. And in my experience, I'm finding that most of us learn this when we take a look at our existing client base, but also we think about when people enter our sales process. Maybe they just made a hiring decision. It could be that you sell to people who have primarily been hired within the past 3 months. It could be that they're, in a certain stage, they're going to events. There's some kind of trigger, and if you come to that trigger, then it's easy to build a list around it usually. But I know you're the go-to guy in my world for doing customer validation. What do you call it? When you
it's so many words. You could call it like customer discovery. I learned it as ID extraction. So you got plenty of terms, but at the end of the day, it's like figuring out where the problem is for your users.
Yeah. Okay.
Or clients.
So
By the way, just a really big digression, actually. But I heard recently that some people really hate the word users. And I've been using users for a very long time to specifically not make the distinction between someone who pays and someone who doesn't pay. But it seems like it's impersonal. I mean, we don't, I'm coming from a French language, and we don't have this distinction. I mean, for us, a user is like, it's okay. It's very neutral. But some people say it's not, you should not tell them users. You should tell them like, people. They're people. It's like, of course they're people. Otherwise they wouldn't be able to be a user. So
yeah.
I'm not quite sure. And I got the opportunity, and sorry, it just struck my mind.
No, it's okay. Well, I don't necessarily care, if it hurts somebody's feeling. I mean, come on,
end of the story. Thanks, Jack. All right, fine.
It's a very squeaky clean. I don't know. We have to clean up our language, I guess. But the other side to it is just, I don't know. I have the luxury of not having users. I have clients. So client sounds nice.
Okay, cool. So I'll use clients in the future. And
no, I don't even think it's appropriate if you make a software tool. They're, I don't know. They
anyway,
are
one thing that I want to say, and I know this is our first broadcast on YouTube, so obviously, we may not have people used to the time we are doing it and things like that. But if you happen to just stumble across this channel and then seeing the video live, do not hesitate to put some comments. That's the reason also why we put it on YouTube, so we can have like an interaction with people around. So if you want to tell us about your own problem that resonates with what we're saying, please, by all means, go ahead, and then we'll be happy to reply to your comments.
There you go.
Or just say hi from whatever place you are. That'll be cool still.
There you go. Or just watch. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show you in depth. Yes, I may not actually write some programs here, but I'll show you the ideas.
Nice.
Let's take an example. COVID is among us, and there are as many businesses that are selling products around the pandemic, right? Like masks, testing kits. And so you may find yourself targeting, let's say, a particular lab that will analyze COVID tests. Okay, that's interesting. But if you go to SalesNav, or you go to Apollo, or you go to Crunchbase, or you go to even Google, it's not that easy to find what I've learned are called CLAI certified laboratories. These are the guys that are qualified to administer COVID tests. So there's money in this market. Maybe you're here because you Googled it. Let me show you how I went about finding all of them in the US, and then working backwards a little bit to find the people we wanted to reach out to for a very successful campaign. And I credit that a lot to targeting, because it was kind of tricky. And I think a lot of people gave up or ended up buying a lower quality list than what I'll show you here. So let me share screen.
Yeah. I don't get it, Jack. Why don't you just simply just email all the laboratory in the US and, just go for volume, man.
You're setting me up with a softball here, Jeremy. Well, as any listener of the show knows, volume is a really tricky game to play right now, probably forever, mostly because of deliverability issues. I mean, if you were guaranteed every email to land in that inbox, then by all means, but
Maybe,
thank
yeah.
God we don't have that capability, because we would never use email. It would be a broken channel, because imagine if you had literally thousands of junk,
Yeah.
unrelated messages. It wouldn't work. So because of that, we have to go much more in one direction, which is higher quality list, higher quality message. See my hands? Higher quality. Okay, we're over there. All right, cool. So with that, I'll start off by showing you where you can go to find these databases that have your starting point here. So allow me to share a screen. You're going to see
Yeah.
my Chrome browser.
Go for it. There you
And
go.
let's look here. Okay, who
Nice.
sees this?
Yeah, I'm all good.
All right, super cool. So CLIA Laboratory Search. This is from the CDC, and there's a lot of them. I'll show you how to use this search really quick, but let's do
You got a
advanced.
reCAPTCHA.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to find independent labs
How did you
that,
find that, first of
yeah,
all,
that's what we're going to get
Jack?
to. That's
Okay.
what we're going to get to. I'll show you my process for this. Let's do compliance. Not sure the difference, but somebody does. And I'm going to search. All right, cool. So it pulled up 2,600. Here's the thing. Let's go ahead, and in order to find this database, Jeremy, you just need to start with one exact match that you have, right?
Okay.
So what I would do is, if I knew I was looking for independent compliance labs that have a CLIA certification, I'm just going to ask Google to show me where those kinds of companies are hanging out. So I'm going to copy a name, and I'm going to go into the Goog and put the names, and then I'm going to spell it right, and then I'm going to put CLIA, and I'm going to see what happens. My guess is these are going to be, yeah, so the directories are just coming up. So I could have
Got it.
used
Yeah,
tools
I
and
understand.
resources from Covens, CMS.gov,
Mhm.
right? Like here's a CLI annual laboratory registry.
And that
So that's the trick.
CLIA label, in a sense, came actually from working with your client. So he knew about the industry and he let you know that, or did you actually have to
Yeah,
research and find it
exactly. It's like
yourself?
show me CLIA Labs, Jack. And
Okay.
so whenever that happens, we have to go into Sherlock Holmes mode and find these companies. I mean, I would say 9 out of 10 lists, I have no idea what they are. They're complete jargon to us until we do that research up front and figure out how to find them and talk to them. And so I think one of the secrets about running a lead gen agency is the list building effort is, I don't know, people just think we have subscriptions to databases and we just plug away, but that's not really the case if you want to do a very careful job. So anyways, that's how I came across this CDC lab search, right? So fortunately, this lab also came up. Same goes for the hospital bed search. I found one that fit and worked backwards. Also, same goes for some of the directories I pay for. I started off searching for very particular kind of company, and the place where it ended up actually had the data I was interested in. So all that said, Jeremy, here we have a bunch of these directories. Now we can hit export, and
Oh gosh, you have an export button. That's nice. Usually
yeah,
I have
isn't it
to use
nice?
a scraper.
Well, no, fortunately, and this is a great example, they have an API for us. So we actually used Python
Crazy.
to build a CLIA extractor, if you will. This is another really good hack, and I'll share it here because you showed this to me, Jeremy, and it's pretty much rocked my world forever. It's the XHR network tab. Just like watch what I did there. But
Yeah,
what I'm
when
going to
you go to the
do
next page.
is, yeah, exactly. Or I could do a good old fashioned refresh, but let's go to the next page. See here. Okay, cool. So this is one way to go about it, right? And guys, if you're just listening to the audio, you're on your Chrome browser, you right click, developer tools, network, and then all, and you'll get like this, I don't know,
URL.
super ugly on data with nothing but with nothing but the right people we want. And what's pretty cool is we can manipulate this URL to show us the next page. So let's start at, I don't know, 200, skipping to
Plus,
page
it's nice.
4.
It's already in JSON
And
format, so you can just grab it and then just
right,
manipulate the data. There's no HTML
yeah,
stuff in it.
it's beautiful. But Jeremy, what do you see? What's the problem you see here? If you look at, let me zoom in. Do you see that?
Oh, hold on. Let me go back.
It's not necessarily a problem with the output. It's just now from a list building perspective, we're in a little bit of a hard place here. What do you see is going to be a challenge for us?
Good question. Okay, I can read the ID. ID is okay. That's going to be the unique identifier for probably this directory. Private number, private DR, I'm not sure what that is. Facility,
Yeah.
I got the big name. And of course, you
Right.
don't have any link to a website, so that's
There you
probably
go.
going to be
Ding,
hard,
ding,
right?
ding. Yeah, without a website link, good luck turning the name of a company into a searchable entity
Yeah.
that you can find people from, or if anything, find the LinkedIn number so that you can perform a sales navigator
Yeah.
export and that kind of thing, right?
Hey,
So
I'm thinking there is the phone number. Maybe searching for the phone number will
you're
actually
on
give
to
like a
something.
unique.
You're on to something,
People
but
are not sharing phone numbers. So maybe from
yeah.
that you can get the website, and from the website then you can get the
Well,
LinkedIn
let's see.
navigator.
I'll
Yeah,
show
let's
you.
see.
I'll
Let's have
show you the
fun.
problem with this approach. So let's go to a new tab. I'm going to drop in the phone number. Problem here is you get a bunch of ugly
Oh, you
data.
need to put it in quotes,
You get
man.
physicians.com. In quotes is going to improve. Let's see.
I
Problem
believe
is,
so.
Jeremy, structuring this data so it makes any kinds of sense is going to be tricky, right? So you have zmaps.net, zmaps.city,
Right.
okcaller.com. It's not
That
really
sucks.
helping us out, right?
Yeah. Maybe the
So
format is wrong. Maybe it needs to
what's
have brackets around the 310.
no, I'll shortcut it because we're live here, and but this is part of that list building troubleshooting thing, right?
Sure.
So let me show you what we do instead. So I'm going to go to Yelp API own number.
Ah,
So fortunately,
nice. Of course, Google is not
free
our friend here.
API. Oh, sure it is. Sure. So look, so if you go to Yelp, you can see that you can actually search a business using the phone. How
Love
cool is
it.
that?
That's
Okay.
super cool.
So what this means is you go to https://api.yelp.com/v3/business/search/phone number. You type in what we tried on Google, and it's actually going to spit out a response like this. And it gives us the rating, the price, the phone, the categories, all this good stuff. But Jeremy, I'll ask you one more time. What's the problem with this data?
Hey, Jude, I'm not a developer.
Yes,
Can
you
you hear
are, but
that?
I'm not asking that.
Well, I
What
am.
bit of information are we still missing?
Well, the website's still not there,
The
right?
website is still not there.
But you do
Okay.
have the Yelp page, which probably
Right.
will contain the website at
Right.
some point. Yes!
Right. Nailed it. So let's go. Okay, so level
Victory.
one was Google typing in a direct match and seeing a directory that found this kind of match. Then it was a CDC directory. We exported all 2,600 CLIA certified labs. And for each one, we fed the phone number into this Yelp API. And then for each Yelp API output, we grabbed the Yelp URL. So let's just go to one. I'm going to just pull up this one because it's on the
It's
docs
pretty
here, which doesn't
interesting.
really matter.
Pretty interesting
But
that actually, laboratories are on Yelp,
some are. So I would say, so look, I'll just tell you right here. So it's like, I don't know,
That
lab
doesn't really look like
testing.
like a,
Let's find one.
like a laboratory, a food laboratory. We got a food picture here. It looks more like a restaurant. It's a good
No,
one, apparently.
yeah. So check it out.
Oh,
So
there
this
you
is
go.
kind of what we're talking about here. Yeah. So like
Funny.
Aventura Heart Center. Okay. So basically, this would probably backwards here. We'd find them on this CDC website.
Yeah, can
However,
see the phone number. Yeah.
this is one of the edge cases where they don't actually have a website. So I'm going to pick another one. There's enough. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
let's finally see. We've arrived at a website now where we've taken phone number from CDC, added it to the Yelp API, got a Yelp URL, then went to the Yelp URL, and now we can extract the website. This
Hey,
is a
Jack,
little bit trickier, right? Go ahead,
I
man.
wonder at this stage, do you actually go and try to parse the page, or do you pay, a virtual assistant to just do it manually, just grab, from each
Oh man,
URL?
human beings should never do this task, man. Like
No, but
there
I
may
mean,
be.
if the website is really hard to parse and there is some captcha and stuff like that, do you actually rely on humans at all, or
Yeah,
obviously we should
so
avoid?
I never ever rely on humans to scrape data. People may put in the comments that there's some kind of a First Amendment intrusion by, I don't know, collecting data or not collecting data. That's a hotly debated topic, but I would say that's between you and, I don't know, your conscience, your legal guidance to discuss. I think there's enough edge cases. I mean, Jeremy, can you recall the last, I don't know, legal event with LinkedIn? Does that ring a bell?
No.
So they were taken to court from a company that was selling data on people in your company most likely to churn, and so they were like basically scraping LinkedIn pretty thoroughly, and LinkedIn lost the case.
Yeah, they
So
lost, of course. Yeah.
yeah, so basically, I would say stay tuned, but yeah, I mean, there's enough gray area where I think it is up to you and how you use the data. I mean, we're not selling it, we're not storing it for very long. I don't know. It's something
Anyway,
I think
there will be
for
a
a different
discussion
cast.
between you and the judge, Jack. So I'm fine.
No, but I think it's important enough for the viewers here or the
That's true.
listeners to actually just say, wait, can we really do this? And I'll tell you, a lot of people are. So far, I think we're finding out where we stand from a legal perspective. But it's also scrape politely. Talk to a developer.
Use all your resource, load some servers and,
Yeah,
browse
yes.
50,000 page as fast as you can.
So whatever. I mean, I've been banned by LinkedIn enough times. I kind of know like
Have
what
you?
the ways.
Oh, yeah, in
Yeah.
terms of your crawlers, right?
Well, yeah. The trick is shout out to the people at Scraping Hub. They sell a tool called Crawlera, which rotates your IP, which makes it really difficult for these sites to figure out what's going on. And we're not overloading the servers like jerks. Long story short, though, Jeremy, we've gotten a list of websites that
Yep.
are CLIA CLIA certified. Not only that, but they're also independent labs, and they are
compliance or
in the
whatever.
compliance certification tape. Now, I would challenge you to find a directory that currently has that information. And I tell you it doesn't exist because I know it doesn't exist because I looked
Well,
everywhere.
you didn't look in Yelp. There is some advanced search.
No, I did look at Yelp. No, I'm not joking when I say I've looked over the entire internet before. I call up my developer, and he's a whiz. Unfortunately, I speak enough Python where I can generally lead him to the right search criteria and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But now what, right? I mean, we've got a list. Is the show over? Do we cover the cool stuff, or do we
Well, I
want to take
still
it a
don't
couple
have the
steps
email.
forward?
Where would I get the email? I got the website.
Where would you get the email? Well, before you get the email,
Well,
you
I mean,
gotta
who? Yeah, I'm not even
yeah, you
sure
gotta get
who.
the person, right? Fair enough. So let's see. The manual way to do it is to copy the actual link, paste it in, and then type in LinkedIn, and then go. And it's actually a
Maybe
little
in
bit more
URL.
Google's
Oh no,
advanced operators here,
yeah,
LinkedIn.com.
site. That's the
Yeah, you
one.
can do just site, right? Or let's do better. I will do an URL. Sure hope this example pulls us to the right place. There's not 100% hit rate, so may have to do this to another one. Live scan, you're letting us
Ooh,
down.
ooh.
Okay,
Disqualify.
that's fine. What can I do here? Let's find another one. Let's do Quest Diagnostics because I know they
I like
exist.
Quest. I like the Quest word. I'm gonna use
Is that
that for my
right?
next product. Yeah,
Is that
think so.
right? Maybe you'll tell us about it one day. Okay, so here I am, Quest Diagnostics.
Look, see, it's good.
It's very good. Yeah. So let's go to it.
Has it slain dragons?
They're not. They are
Damn it.
looking at blood. But fair enough. So for listeners, I typed in questdiagnostics.com space in URL :linkedin.com/company, and that has to pull up company pages. I'll get a little bit more hacky with you. If you type in size, or no, what is an employee count?
Oh,
Employee.
so you do what? Like
Company size. That's what it is. So
quote.
the page has to contain
Oh, I see.
company size. And so what's really cool, Google thinks I'm a robot. Let's refresh. Oh, wow. Let's play this game together.
Yes, fire hydrants. Look at
Here we
that. You
go.
didn't select all the images.
But okay, yeah. So what's pretty cool is if you wanted to like grab the company size and be super hacky with it, you can kind of just type this in and Google will scrape LinkedIn on your behalf. You can even ask it industries and all that stuff,
That's
but we
pretty
won't
cool.
need to
So we
do
see
that,
that
right?
in a snippet. We actually see the
Yeah, the
company size
snippet
right away.
helps us.
I like
Do you still
that.
see my face in this recording?
I do. Yeah. So
Do you still see my face
don't
in
do
this
anything.
recording?
Yes, I do. So don't do anything embarrassing. You know.
Fair enough. Okay, so here we are, and then I'm not going to go into like how to find people on LinkedIn
Man, there's
because
this 20K employee. You have
you
to
know.
tell me how you're gonna find someone.
Okay, well then this should be easy. So, all right, whatever. You're making it easy for me, Jeremy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the see all employees on LinkedIn. They have 20,000, so it's quite a sizable company here. Let me show you something that's pretty cool. Results, fastest hiring company, 22. All right, so here's the LinkedIn ID for Quest Diagnostics,
Okay, so it's
4727.
okay.
4727.
Why is
So
that not the 22 in front or 24?
you know that because the
Oh, it's
parenthesis
20% a
22,
percent 22, so which is a space. Yes, I got
it's
it.
a
My bad.
space. That's right.
What a noob. I'm sorry.
So what a noob over here. Yeah, so you know, people think you're just, you know, just kind of cavemen copywriters here, but no, we have to get a little bit more savvy than that and know some I don't know what's going to pop up on my sales nav stuff, but whatever. Let's do all filters, and we're going to do current company. Company is, and then I'll show you the manual way, and then we'll do it like more hacky. Okay, so who do we want to find here, Jeremy? Do we want to find, let's find a data scientist.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got one. You got the chief one
7.
even.
Look at that. So we've got 7 people that would match our criteria probably. I say probably because Sales Nav is not always reliable. Sometimes it'll show you people that have a slightly different job title. So that's fine. I want you to see here, this is the same number of the LinkedIn ID that
Yep.
we found previously. So
4727. Yes.
yeah, so basically, I don't know it off the top of my head because it's stored in different programs, but there's a Sales Navigator URL that you can generate that automatically will grab the Quest Diagnostics and the data scientist. I mean, look, like what I want
Yeah,
people to
it's
take
pretty
from
close
this,
to that, right?
what I want you to take from this is like the URL can be manipulated to pretty much anything. So if we wanted to say founder, and then go, notice data scientist changes to founder, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And I think if you start thinking programmatically, like how do you manipulate a LinkedIn Sales Navigator URL, given a list of LinkedIn IDs that you found through a number of different ways, then now you're starting to talk about getting to this point of leverage where you have scraping programs that generate very detailed bits of data. And you know what's really cool, Jeremy, something we haven't talked about is like along the way, we've made several stops at different directories. So we start at CDC and you have certain, you know, that they're
Data. Yeah.
independent. Yeah, and
Data
so
points.
we'll grab those data points. And then when we go over Yelp, we have their rating. So that may be another thing that we'd collect. And then by the time we go to find an email address, Jeremy, we've got a lot of merge tags that we can use in
Yep.
an outreach campaign, right? I mean, we could even say like a compliment about their stellar Yelp rating. We can drop in that you're looking for independently owned CLIA certified labs. You know, you can get, gosh, so specific without using any like
This is what we were saying about, for personalization. If you do your list with a lot of criteria, then you could use those criteria for personalization, basically.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then you tack on, because at our agency we go, I'm not even gonna say above and beyond. We do what's expected in 2020, and we write personalized, intro sentences for everybody on a list. Then you're talking about the kind of outreach campaign that they've maybe never gotten before, because frankly, 95, 96% of outreach is quite horrible. 3% of it's not bad, and 1% is worth replying to, I think. Just think about your spam folder if you're not sure about those stats. But okay, where are we at, Jeremy? Did I leave any stone unturned here?
Oh yeah, let me think first. Where the idea is basically find a
I'm gonna
directory that
stop
contains
sharing.
what you want. Yeah, okay. So the idea is find a directory that contains potentially a list of what you want to start with, and then find other directories or other ways to increase the data points, or actually find data points that would lead you to potentially, to have the URL or the website of that company that will then enable you to then switch to your favorite tool, which in this case is Sales Navigator, in order to figure out or to resume your sort of process. So you will still use a database at the end, the database here being Sales Navigator, but you will come to that database with already everything you need, right?
So yeah, to clarify, we're using 3 databases here.
That's right.
CDC, 4: Google, CDC, Yelp, and then Sales Navigator.
That's right.
So using 4 databases, we've gotten to the core list of the 2,600 certified labs in the country, and we've narrowed that down to the right people that work at those labs. And we left out the step on finding the email address, but frankly, that's kind of boring at this point. I mean, there's enough tools that
we got plenty of resources on our website, so if people want to check it
yeah,
out,
I mean,
there's a list of all the tools.
Hunter
Yes,
people use. I mean, I don't know. I hear mixed reviews about others, but yeah, finding the email address actually pretty easy. But to tell you the truth, we're at now that we're salesbred, or even before we were salesbred, we've embraced this multi-channel thing. So it's like, don't forget that if you use SalesNav to find people and their email address, well, you've also got their LinkedIn handle. So maybe there's a LinkedIn outreach effort that's worth it. And then if that doesn't work, or for those that don't accept,
Go
email and
Twitter.
or use
Yeah.
both. Yeah, I mean, um, you just have a lot more firepower, I think, when you take this granular approach. And if I can just be on my soapbox for another minute here, I think two scenarios are happening with outbound. It's like, oh, well, it's really hard to build my list. I don't, no database has it. If you think creatively enough, you can build a list for it. And we'll do more of these like walkthroughs because, I mean, some of the stuff that we're able to do, especially when you are using Google to filter your list, it's basically like scraping the scraper. Like Google scrapes everything, everything.
That's right.
And if you can tap into that, maybe we'll do like a SERP API kind of walkthrough. But yeah, I mean, you could ask it all kinds of things. You could even say like,
A
hey,
good one, yeah.
I have a
Hmm.
list of 100 personal injury attorneys. How many of them mention the word motorcycle crash in their headline and on their homepage? Because
Hmm.
maybe you sell a thing for personal injury. Like, the idea is you can take a big list, make it smaller with more intelligent filters. And you should, as a cold emailer. And the nice thing is you don't got to hire a bunch of people to help you do this. This is stuff that robots should do.
Hey, and I'm just thinking as well that if you manage to get your list down to the sort of everyone on this list should be able to buy, then you're gonna get your real reply rate or positive reply rate, right? Because if you have a positive reply rate, or or actually just even a reply rate, and you actually includes like a lot of noise, then your reply rate will not be the actual reflection of what you could have if you contact people who are qualified for your offer.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not so obsessive about like this metric. I think everybody's more interested in deals won. I just think the more you can refine your list, the less effort you're going to have to reach those people. Because take
Mhm.
the list you currently have, 70% of them will never buy. And that's still a very good list. If you can get 30% of your list to buy, you're in a league of your own right there. But the idea is like you said, the more you can cut, the easier time you're going to have to reach these people, the more time you can afford to spend personalizing their messages. I think that's like the biggest aha moment here is like, let's say, going back to the very first thing you let off with, Jeremy, which was like, hey, Jack, why don't you just build a list of every testing center, whether they're certified or not, and
Yeah.
send a message to them? Do you know how many, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars it would cost to write personalized messages and set up inboxes that can reach them? I mean, you're talking about a massive effort there. Whereas if you filter that down to 2,600,
Mhm.
wow, you can afford to do much more interesting things.
Yep, I agree. And I think right now in 2020, the game for people who go with volume is to actually include multiple inboxes. So, we have the ability to add multiple inboxes for one single campaign. And we got people that, just basically keep on doing volume, but they manage to, it's a cat and mouse game. And right now it still works. It's actually going with multiple inboxes, but at some point that's not gonna keep on working. So,
Yeah,
go ahead and actually,
right.
try to shrink your list.
I got an email, I think it was 2 days ago. Somebody said, hey, Jack, and I call them strange emails every now and then, of just people throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks. Somebody said, hey, Jack, um, I have a list of 20,000 people that purchased a car from a particular dealership in my neighborhood. And I partnered with this grocery store and they want to send out messages that they're now delivering and to send them a coupon for $5 off. How would you do that with cold email? And I asked him, I was like, why a car dealership? He said, oh, well, my brother owns a car dealership, so he gave me the database. I was like, all right, well, first of all, buying a car, I don't know
Yeah,
about
it's the
that so
same,
much.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Whole Food shoppers, you have Walmart, and so. But I said with 20,000, cold email is not your channel. Try something else.
I still got that, like people who buy, a huge list and they say, well, okay, I got to use this list now. I got like 40,000. Can you imagine
I spent
40,000
$400
people?
on this list.
Anyway, okay, I think we should leave it here for, our first sort of like broadcast live. And I think we're going to do that every week, right?
Yeah, if I can make sure to keep my face in the video screen there, let's do it. If this was more helpful than the audio format, it would be very cool to know that. We don't mind putting our faces in front of this camera for you guys, but we want to do it if it's improving things, right?
Or Jack is focusing on having his face here, but obviously, or sharing screen. And you can leave us a comment on the YouTube page, or just send us an email. We're still at podcast@quickmail.io, so you can still send us an email and we'll both read it.
There you go. Or leave us a comment or whatever. I think you know where to get at us. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jack. Awesome. Catch you next week.
Next week.